Hello and welcome to Footy Talk for your Mondays. Footy Talk is your place for the latest news, interviews and analysis from the world of AFL. My name is Jay Clark, joined as usual by Abbey Holmes, and we're excited because we've got a special guest this morning.
Hello, we certainly do, and an epic round of footy once again.
Yep.
Round 11 has wrapped up. Some interesting results, which I'm sure we'll get through. But we've got a very special guest. We're
Yes.
very, very excited to have Will Ashcroft in studio with us today. Will, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
It's great to see you, mate. Fresh off your your knee rehab is almost complete. I can see just a little smile on your face because you're inching towards that finish line. You've been doing some main training or full contact training. When might we see you again?
Yeah, so I got the appointment with the surgeon today.
Yep.
Hopefully get the final tick off of approval from him.
Yep.
And then, move into full training and hopefully back in about a month. So, chomping at the bit to get into it.
How tough has it been sitting on the sidelines for the last 12 months or so?
Yeah.
You burst onto the scene as a young 18-year-old kid and made such an impact for the Brisbane Lions early in your career. I can imagine it's always going to be challenging, no doubt about it. But when the boys aren't flying as well as you'd like to see them, it probably makes it even harder.
Yeah, I think there's two sides to it. Like when I did it last year, it was really tough missing that patch where we were playing finals and going really well.
Yeah.
So that was one side to it, and that was obviously early in my rehab. And then the other side now is, they're not playing, we're not playing great footy and struggling a little bit, and it's hard because I think I can have a big impact on the team. So, looking forward to getting back and trying to make an impact.
What about the grand final component last year? Obviously, the boys went down by 4 points to the Pies, but you would have been rapt for them to make it to that final day in September. But deep down, was that really hard for you as well?
Yeah, that's what I was sort of talking about. There's two sides to it. Like I was so happy for my teammates going through that whole process where a lot of guys were, playing really good footy individually, and the team was humming. And then, the other side is me missing out on all that footy on the back end of the year and then the final series. So, two sides to it. But I think, now it's probably shifting our attention to trying to turn around this year and get back in there.
He could have been the difference, Jay.
Oh, your return is outstanding timing because the boys will be a little bit flat. Went down to Hawthorn at the weekend. I mean, you have been smashed by injuries, particularly the knees. You be the leader of the knee rehab with Kitty Coleman, Tommy Duday, Lincoln McCarthy, Dizzy Gardner. It is an extraordinary unlucky run with ACLs, but you'd be eyeing a comeback. I mean, it does really feel like the Lions, you're borderline. It's going to have to take a really strong second half of the season to play in September this year. Can you let us in on the mood of the group and your potential return? Because you could bring a bit of energy and a bit of optimism the second half of the season.
Yeah, obviously yesterday's loss pretty fresh for the boys, and we're heading into the bye now, so a chance to freshen up, get a bit of a rest. We're back into training at the back end of the week. But I think the belief's still there, like chatting with the guys yesterday, spoke with some of the leaders, and there's still a lot of optimism and for me personally, a lot of hunger. I think that, once I get back and the boys are back into it, we'll have a crack.
I was wondering why I couldn't hear you both, but I didn't have my headphones plugged in, so we're good to go now. But four wins this season. Where do you think things haven't quite been going to plan for the boys?
Yeah, I think just the inconsistency week to week. Like, we'll put some really good quarters together. I think that's evident right from the first game with the Carlton game, and I think all the way through. Our best footy obviously last year was right there with the best in the comp, but then just the inconsistency of different things around our contest. Not being able to kick scores that we probably used to doing in years past. So I think but I reckon, me personally being a midfielder, we pride ourselves in the contest. Always starts at the stoppage, and we've got to get back to our best in that space, I think.
Your younger brother, Will, is also looking like an outstanding father-son prospect. How's your relationship with your brother? Do you find him very annoying? Do you want to keep away from him? Are you super tight with him? How do you think that dynamic's going to work at the Lions?
Yeah, no, I'm very close with him, so it's been good to get back home and spend a few days with him and the family. But he's still sort of weighing up the decision if he to come to Brizzy and just enjoying his under-18 year
Do you
here
think there's
in
a chance
Melbourne.
he might not?
Yeah, potential. I was thinking it's similar to my situation. Like, I was living here playing for the Dragons and school footy with Brighton, so it was a genuine consideration, and I think it's definitely the same for him. He's still down here in Melbourne living, so with our family, so he's going through the process and just trying to enjoy his 18th year.
Your beautiful mum is here with you today, but father-son, of course, with your dad, how much does he have to say, particularly for you last year, of course, coming out and dominating, but how much does he have to say kind of pre-game, post-game? What is that dynamic like?
I've sort of said this over the time. He's pretty good at finding the balance between just being a good support alongside mum and then also trying to influence the footy and give us tips and stuff. I'm probably pretty intense and like having conversations with dad more post-game about stuff. Levi's probably a little bit different. He just likes to go out and play and review the game more later in the week and not talk too much footy once it's finished. He's got to try and find that balance between both of us as well. But he's good. He's just a good support, which has been awesome.
Speaking of balance, what do you like to do outside of the four walls of the footy club and I guess the AFL landscape?
Yeah, well, golf's a big one at the line in Queensland. I think a fair few of the boys play here as well. So we play a lot of golf. And then I got a little bit of a side hustle or side business, you could call it, sort of running programs, Wash Performance and Wellbeing it's called. We sort of do programs, different clinics through schools and clubs in Queensland at the moment, and try and build our social presence through different content pieces as well. So that's keeping me busy through my knee rehab, especially trying to build that up and give me something to do and strive towards.
Who do you do that with?
I've got two mates back in Queensland I do it with, so they sort of run the back end of it. They're into the marketing and the editing and the tech side of things, which isn't my specialty. They work really hard, and we enjoy that.
What do you want to, I guess, do with that? How do you want to build it over the years to come?
Just the main philosophy I had in it always was to help younger kids coming up, especially in AFL, who have the intentions or the drive to play AFL or play at the level that they want to in men's and women's, but don't necessarily have the resource or the access to facilities to do so. So that's why we sort of built the app and built the programs in so they can access that online, and then the one-on-one coaching stuff and clinics we're starting to do in Queensland. We've done a couple here in Victoria as well.
It's a tough watch being on the sidelines, mate, as the season plays out. But have you been catching any of Harley Reid? I mean, you set the competition ablaze last year. The goal of the year from the boundary line, Nicky Dacos, was outstanding as well. But this young man, Harley, did you see him fend off Josh Rochelle yesterday? Have you seen that?
I saw the highlight, I wouldn't see it live, but
He bulldozed him with full Dustin Martin. It's extraordinary what he's doing in a West Coast jumper in his first year. You must admire him.
Absolutely, yeah. It's always good seeing other young guys come straight into the comp and have a really big impact straight away. And he's definitely done that across a number of weeks. And all credit to him, and he's going really well.
It wasn't a great showing for West Coast yesterday, but I loved the commentary. I think it was in the first half. Harley Reid still doing Harley Reid things, and he said it's the Adelaide Crows versus Harley Reid.
Yeah.
Anyway, who have you enjoyed watching this year from a team's perspective? I mean, everybody's admiring what the Sydney Swans have been able to do, and off the back of that as well, who's one player across the competition that you have been watching very closely and have been very impressed with in 2024?
Yeah, well, I was going to touch on the Sydney guys. I think obviously their team's going really well, and but I think like Warner and Heaney, just dominate. I think that's
Goulden.
Yeah, Goulden, absolutely. There's a lot of them there who are doing it in that midfield.
It's a three-headed monster.
Yeah,
they're all unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. I think Warner the last couple of weeks, I think he's something I try and pride myself on as well, is taking the game on, breaking lines, hitting the scoreboard, like he's kicking goals, multiple goals every week. But breaking lines and taking the game on, I think that's where the game's trending and how it's going, and that's how you win games. And and also Heaney as well. Obviously, he's having an unreal year.
Who's the biggest beacon of energy at the Lions? I want to know. You've got a few. Kyle Oman, you've got Darcy Wilmot, who absolutely cracks me up. There's a few. Yeah,
those two are probably at the top of it. They roll around the club together often, and just annoying guys day in, day out. But no, they're unreal for the club, especially two young guys as well. I think both in their third year and bring a lot of energy to the club, and I think those guys are more important now than ever in the position we're in. We've got to keep bringing the energy week to week and build from where we are.
Last one before we get to the weekend's footy, Chris Fagan, your relationship with him. I'm seat 1A on the Chris Fagan fan club. He does strike me as quite intense and stressed on game days, though. I'd like to relax him a little bit. How have you gone with Fags, and what's your relationship like with him?
Yeah, really close with Fags. I have conversations with him probably every second day at the club, especially at the moment, just trying to stay involved. All over the past few months, stay involved with the playing team week to week. And yeah, he's been unreal. He's been awesome when I was playing, but also even more now. So yeah, can't wait to play for him again. And he's supported me all the way through, and will continue to.
I think he's excited about having you back out there. Well, that's the voice of Will Ashcroft, the Star Brisbane Lion. We're going to be back with more after the break on Footy Talk to discuss the weekend's games. Star Brisbane Lion, Will Ashcroft. What did you think of Sydney's win over the Western Bulldogs? I like the Bulldogs. They've got a massive game against Collingwood. It is Friday night. Huge test for them. They're going to be missing Aaron Norton. Collingwood with their injuries. Is there any chance the Pies are vulnerable in this one?
Well, the good thing, I guess, from Friday night, from a Collingwood perspective, they had 6 players under 10 games. They had a couple of debutants. With 5 minutes to go in that game, you thought that they were walking away with the 4 points. So I spoke to Darcy Moore post-game and said, look, as much as you would love to have all of your senior, more experienced players back in this side, you must be really proud of what the kids are doing. And absolutely he was. But Sydney on Thursday night, it was a gallant effort by the Western Bulldogs, and Luke Beveridge was very proud of his side and what they produced. But this Sydney side is unbelievable.
Yep.
And I'm sitting there on the sidelines thinking which other team of the other 17 teams can actually match it with them at the moment. Chad Warner is an absolute freak. You mentioned him in our first segment, but 25 disposals and a career high at 4 goals for him. If it's not one, it's the other. And if it's not the other, it's another one. So it's pretty remarkable what the Sydney Swans are doing, and they've just got such an even spread of contributors across the board.
Will, did you see Lockie Sullivan's free kick, the time-wasting
Yes.
kick? Have you caught that? And did you think... Well, I think that was incredibly harsh. It wasn't time-wasting. He was just picking up the ball. I thought throwing his teammate as he jogged off. What did you make of it?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. It's obviously been heavily discussed. I tend to agree with you. I think it was pretty harsh.
Yeah.
And yeah, it could have sort of gone either way.
Yeah.
And yeah, especially at the stage of the game and the crucial moment. But yeah, if that's the decision the umpire made, then I guess it's the correct one. But yeah, it was tough.
There was another example of that yesterday in the Hawthorn game where...
Did it get paid, Abbey?
It did not get paid.
Oh, what a shock. What a surprise. What a ridiculous decision that was. You know what's going to happen, Will? I reckon players will just leave the ball on the ground. Like your friendly... Pick it up and you toss it to the umpire or whatever all the time. I reckon coaches will now say to the players, just
don't touch the footy.
Once the whistle's blown, just don't touch the footy. Just leave it. So the umpires will be bending down, picking it up themselves. Do you reckon that'll bob up on the radar? Or
I reckon that already happens a little bit. Like if guys are trying to get a few extra seconds before they ball it up, if later in the game, or if guys are tired or been tackled, I think that happens probably maybe 50% of the time already. So I think it'll just start to happen more often.
Just leave it on the ground.
Yeah.
I saw St Kilda versus Melbourne yesterday. Max Gawn. We don't talk about how good this bloke is.
Yeah.
So what a freak this man is. He was unbelievable. Smash Rowan Marshall in the ruck as Melbourne make a bit of a statement against St Kilda. It's interesting they talk about the value of a ruckman these days. We saw Collingwood and Melbourne essentially punt out Brodie Grundy. You've got Oscar McInerney. Do you still feel like there's a strong influence and a strong hand to play for ruckman in the current AFL? Because you see sometimes these big midfielders going up in the ruck. How do you, and you play underneath them.
Yeah.
What do you think the influence of the modern day ruckman is?
Oh, it's huge. If they got a lot of different strings to their bow, I guess, like what Max Gawn does, and they're huge, instrumental.
Yep.
I love playing with Big O. I think his ruck work is elite, and if you can get hit outs to advantage, often that'll lead to first possession and clearance for us. So and also what he does really well is like spiking it forward and taking it out of the ruck, so that it results in territory. So they're huge around the stoppage, but also if they're they can outwork the other ruckman and get forward and make an impact that way as well.
That's the thing. It's just the versatility of these big guys, isn't it? It's not just a tap ruckman that gives the midfielders first use, but so many of them, Brodie Grundy as well, effectively can win their own ball when it's on the ground and clearance, getting it forward for their side. And then, of course, they're so strong in the air in a contested marking situation.
Saints, on the other hand, have got some headaches. My old mate Ross Lyon is
boy.
under the pump, it must be said, because after scoring 53 and 55 points over the past 2 weeks, they scored only 10 goals or 60 against Melbourne yesterday. So they made finals last year, Abbey, and now St Kilda are fourth last on the ladder and are struggling to impact on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
Is this really a reflection of St Kilda is at, do you think, or are they having a poor season? Where do you think St Kilda, how do you benchmark them?
I think they're having a poor season. I'm certain that last year the younger players coming through, the Owens, the Caminiti, of course, in the absence of a couple of their other key forwards out through injury, Mateus, of course. I think these guys probably produced over and above what was expected for them in their first season. But you listen to Ross Lyon speaking off the back of yesterday's defeat, and they were so strong with their full team defence last year, and now teams are just kind of walking all over them in that area. So that's what he prides himself on. They need to get to work in that, and hopefully they can turn things around in the second half of the season.
It is going wrong at all ends of the ground, or sort of both ends in the midfield as well for St Kilda. They'll continue to be a big story. What about your mob, the Crows? They demolished West Coast on Sunday. I find them a hard club to assess and team. They've been so hot and cold. How do you think they're travelling, the Crows, at the moment? 99-point
win against the West Coast Eagles at home. They had a shocking start to the season, and that was really disappointing, of course, off the back of almost playing finals last year, missing out on the back of that Sydney Swans decision, but we won't go there again. But this is a side that has lost the last 4 games against Collingwood by a combined margin of 12 points. So they can prove that they can match it with the best in the competition any given day. But it's that exciting ball movement that's just starting to come back. It was none of void at the start of the season. But 7 goal kickers yesterday kicked multiple goals. So they're now opening, I guess, the options in their forward half. Jordan Dawson's found his feet. He had a slow start to the season. And it was... You listen to Matty Nix early in the season. He said, unfortunately, it's a lot of our senior guys, the more experienced players that were out of form. They're finding that form. So you don't want to leave it to the last minute. There's no doubt about that. But you just get the sense that if Adelaide can start finding their groove over the next couple of months, then they will certainly be in contention for a top 8 spot. Dawson,
unbelievable, almost back to his All-Australian sort of calibre performance. They're missing Isaac Rankin, so that was a massive step up. We've got to touch on Geelong. Been such a consistent side. Lost 4 in a row now for the first time since 2006. It's unbelievable. And Tom Stewart is the one whose form has really dropped off. So he has been, I think, a 5-time All-Australian out of the last 6 years, driven a lot of their offense from the back half. He's an intercepting king, but teams are going to work on him, Will. They're in his face. They're trying to distract him. And I think his performance has dropped off a little bit. We've expected such a high benchmark from Geelong over such a period of time. This is a bit of a surprise considering their first half of the season. What were they? 7 and zip. Now 4 losses in a row. They play Richmond this weekend. We didn't see this coming, did we?
No, definitely not. I think I watched them closely when we played them. I reckon that was 5 or 6 weeks ago now. Sort of very professional how they went about it at the Gabba. It was a pretty wet night. Just sort of did what they needed to do to win it. I watched a lot of Geelong footy. I went for Geelong before I was drafted. So
did ya?
Yeah. So I watched. Not used to them losing 4 in a row, as you said, since 2006. I think Tom Stewart's obviously a gun of the comp. He'll bounce back. Good players always do. It'll be interesting to see how the team goes over the next the second half of the year.
Midfield's a bit of a question mark at the moment. That's certainly where they were beaten at the weekend. We know GWS have got some skill in there. But Paddy Dangerfield, I think they're going to hold him back, Chris Scott said. He's one who can bring some real top-line performance, but he won't be rushed back into the side. So that midfield is a bit of a concern, Abbey, because at the start of the year we sort of that was the bit of the knock on the Cats, and now it turns out that Holmes and Bruin, two of their younger players, have been two of their most consistent performers.
And that's, I guess, the beauty of injury. You never want them, but it does open up opportunities for some of the younger boys to come in and show us what they're made of. So Jai Clark, Tanner Bruin. Bruin's now been in the system for a few years, but within this system and this structure. So as much as you want Paddy Dangerfield out there, it's been good to get some games into the younger guys to see what they can do, but they will absolutely welcome their captain back with open arms. But with Richmond this week, no disrespect to them, of course.
4 points.
Yeah, 4 points at home, GMHBA. And just very quickly as well, big congratulations to Tommy Hawkins on the weekend, games record holder for the Cats. But yeah, that midfield group, it needs to find its group.
Biggest talking point, or one of the biggest talking points, Will, is the holding the ball decision or umpiring at the moment. It was interesting to see Damien Hardwick say he wants that whistle blown a lot quicker, almost as a welfare thing, because if the free kick isn't paid more quickly, that's when players are being slung and potentially dumped into the ground. Do you have a view on that? Would you want a quicker whistle?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I think.
Or do you even know what to expect in regards to holding the ball recently?
It's definitely a bit of inconsistency with it, and a lot of different people are making different comments on it and having different thoughts. I'm not necessarily sure blowing the whistle earlier is because, guys want to fight through the tackle. It's something we speak about a lot as well. So as players who to win the tackle breaks.
Yep.
So yeah, I understand from a welfare perspective, it makes sense, but from within the game, I'm not sure that's the correct thing to do.
Can you explain why you want to draw the tackle and why you want to try and break through
Yeah.
them?
Yeah, well, it's one of our key pillars as a club, and a lot of other clubs do it as well. Is breaking through the tackle. Then, because usually you want one guy to come execute the tackle and the others to number off. So if you can break through that one, then it just creates an outnumber, and then you're sort of through and can break the game open that way. So yeah, if you're blowing the whistle earlier, and it gives a lot of advantage to the other team because then they can slingshot back the other way. So. It's a big part of the game.
Oh, I can't wait to see this go back.
Yes. We are looking forward to that. Hey, a lot of talk about Nathan Buckley. We'll finish on this. I think, Abbey, would he be a great choice to be the inaugural coach of the Tasmanian side? Be like Bucks. He's always impressive, speaks very well, talks well to the young kids, can deal with big business down there. Would you feel like he'd be a strong choice? Fags is also from Tassie. Will, I'm sure he'd get your vote if he was to move on from the Lions at any point. But what do you think? Do you think would be the person there?
I think Bucks would be a great choice, and interesting listening to him speak this morning of it.
Didn't shut it down.
Pardon?
Didn't shut it
down and was talking about how lovely the countryside is down in Tasmania, how much of a beautiful place it is. So conversations are obviously happening around the country at the moment, but I can absolutely say that I'd love to see Nathan Buckley in that role.
Super. Does Fags bang on about Tassie much?
Imagine going from Brisbane climate to Tasmania. He would freeze.
Yeah, he's pretty used to it though. He grew up there, so... Yeah, no, he doesn't talk about it too much. He's very committed to Queensland. He loves Queensland now, in Brisbane especially. So,
why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You moved into state, didn't you? You lived in Victoria.
Yeah.
When you moved, do you think Tassie will have trouble attracting or retaining players, or as a young bloke, were you just like, I'll move anywhere to play footy?
Oh, I'm of the belief that coming into the system, I'd be happy to play anywhere.
Yeah.
And take the opportunity with open arms because the dream's always to play AFL footy. So wherever you can do it, you take. And I think that's probably the review of a lot of young draftees who would be coming through at that time. And no, I don't think Tassie's still a big footy market. So I think people will be keen to play there, and the excitement of a new team and all that. I think they'll attract players for sure.
The red wine, the cheese, the fires.
Yes. So Hobart's lovely, Battery Point.
It's lovely.
Get around there, a few bars, a few cafes, the Salamanca markets. They'll be fine, especially with Bucks in charge. Righto, Will Ashcroft thank you so much for your time today, mate. We lauded you and loved watching you play last year. We can't wait to see you back out there. And good on you, mate, as a young bloke, for your persistence and determination, resilience to get through a serious ACL so early in your career. We take our hats off to you, mate. So well done to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
Look forward to you lighting up the football field again. Abbey, you always light up our screens every week. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. Great to see you.
And thanks so much for listening. We will see you back here tomorrow with the St Kilda Mafia. It's Nicky Rewalt and Lee Montagna all talking all the big issues on Footy Talk.